Hello, everybody. My name is Ana Rezende, and in this podcast, I will share my transformational journey to become a health coach. In each episode, I will address a different subject that impacts our health, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Because I've learned that being healthy means being in balance. If you would like to make amazing discoveries, improve your health, get inspired, and yet find sustainable ways to live and help the planet, tune in. You are in the right place. I'm your host, Ana Rezende, and Good is What Makes You Feel Well is Mama Terra's podcast.
Toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala a montanha, contempla a vista, transcende, levita.
In today's episode, I am talking to Bev and John Martin, the retirement travelers. With a mechanical engineering degree, John spent his career making aluminum around the world. He held the position of president, Alcoa Global Primary Products, US, when me and my family moved to the States 11 years ago. The Retirement Travelers was born when John and his wife Bev started sharing their traveling experiences on YouTube after John's retirement in 2019. In the past 5 years, their community has grown to more than 125,000 subscribers. They've visited 104 countries, every U.S. state, and 52 of the American national parks. A travel planner enthusiast, John is passionate about helping people live their best post-career lives. And after being a stay-at-home mom and raising 5 beautiful kids, Bev is now using her advertising design and history degree as the creative behind the Retirement Travelers brand. She has in fact expanded her abilities to website design, video editing, and brand development. In our conversation, the couple shares their downsizing process and what a minimalist lifestyle means. Beyond traveling insights, you will be amazed by how life unfolds when we have good intentions and no outcome in mind. Please welcome Bev and John Martin, the Retirement Travelers. Hello, Bev and John. Welcome to Good is What Makes You Feel Well.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
First, we start our conversation. I always ask the same question to begin. What, in this moment of your life, makes you feel well?
Makes us feel well.
Oh, well.
Oh,
I think
so many things.
so many things. I think for us, it's balance. It's finding the balance of family and travel and excitement and, basically how we're living our retirement life right now. It brings us joy.
That is so great. Yeah, I'm curious about everything, but let's take one step at a time. I know you guys are now retired and living the life you envisioned for retirement and all, but how feeling well has evolved throughout your life?
Wow, lots of different ways.
That's a tough question. You want to take that or me?
Well, I think back about, we both had different things happen to us with our wellness over the years. And for John, when he worked, he had a pulmonary embolism he had a DVT and a pulmonary embolism. And for me, I was diagnosed when I was around 40 years old with multiple sclerosis. So I think that the thing about our wellness, these two things, each of us have something that's a little different, but, for us, it's the coming to grips with it emotionally and mentally. For me, I've been very well over all of this time. I've had only a few symptoms, but it has changed the way we look at our life. And it changes everything about us because we don't take anything for granted anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the when John was working and he was traveling from out
actually from Intalco.
Yes, from Chicago back to New York, and he didn't know that he had a blood clot in his leg, and it was not even a long flight, and he still got it. And when we went to the hospital a week later, when he couldn't breathe, and he thought, oh gosh, am I having a heart attack? At that time, we really realized that the doctor said, you're lucky. 1/3 of people who have this happen to them in the way it happened to you don't make it. And so it was that not making it. It was me having multiple sclerosis. We looked at our retirement in a totally different way that most people don't. Yeah. Most people always, you always assume you have all the time in the world. And for us to be world travelers, and we don't travel slow, we change places about every week. And that has totally been impacted because, we don't know if tomorrow I'll walk, but I'm at peace that if that does happen and I can't walk and I can't get around, that I've given it my all every time. Every bit of the effort has gone out there. And,
basically life is short. We've seen some of my work friends that I worked for 30 years with retired and died within 5 years. And it's just heartbreaking. And we don't want to look back with regrets. Basically, we're going to live retirement with no regrets. And that's
take good care of ourselves.
Take good care of ourselves. I mean, we don't eat as well as we always should, but I've run almost 100,000 kilometers in my life. So wow. I've running since I was age 14, and that helps me feel like I'm staying young. So health is important to us. So we do take that into consideration, really, because we want to be around for our grandkids and we want to be able to experience life. We're not necessarily obsessed with health, other than we know the benefits of being able to go hike a trail and do things with our grandkids. And, we hope to live a long time.
Yeah, so that's great. So the fact that you had the health issue, and then Bev had on her 40s the diagnosis of MS, those two things were what led you guys to retire earlier?
Not necessarily, not as far as the timing. Okay, so let's go back. Our mindsets have changed over the years. So I was grandfathered into the pension program with Alcoa. So at 30 years, I knew I could have a pension. So that would have been age 52. And I'd always wanted to retire by age 55. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I retired. But our dreams during our 40s and 50s were we were going to live in a golf community in Florida and part-time and go do some traveling. And if you remember, I retired at the end of 2019, and we had a trip to Europe planned. And then this thing called COVID hit, and it really changed a lot of things for us. Bev at the time said, hey, why don't we just go see our country? So instead of canceling everything and sitting at home, we bought an Airstream camper. And over the next 2 years during COVID, we drove 40,000 miles, saw all 50 states, and visited every national park in the lower 48. Yeah. And so
we were able to live our lives outside. And
we lived outside, and it also told us we didn't need to live in a big house, that we were happy in 250 square feet, going around the country.
Yeah. Before that time, we had decided that having two places really wasn't conducive to what we wanted. We were buying two of everything. It just felt wasteful. And so we decided, let's just live in Florida where we're active. We had a great community of friends, and it was a very active lifestyle. And so we had downsized to one home and to a condo. And then whenever we took off to see the country, we saw such big things. Our life wasn't, we weren't in a little camper. We were driving across the country and seeing these big forests and seasides and mountains and deserts and caves. And our life was just so big at that moment. And we said, we've lived in this little 250 square foot camper. I think we could live with a lot less. And why don't we just sell the house? And so we started thinking about it. And really within a week, we decided to sell. And off we did. And we sold in 2 hours our home, and everything just kind of lined up. And then we took off to go see the world. And now we live out of a backpack, and we've downsized to just nothing.
But before retirement, we had 2 homes, 3 cars, a boat. And we went from all that to literally living out of 2 backpacks, and are happier doing it.
And we do not have a storage unit.
No storage units.
We didn't keep anything except our golf clubs at our daughter's house. And we gave everything away.
So you have the camper though?
No, we sold that. We don't have anything.
You don't have the camper anymore. Okay.
No, we sold that back in 2021.
Yeah.
And we live in hotels. And when we're here in the States, we have 5 children, so we rotate around and stay with our children. But that's,
And we're home for an extended stay this time, just until the beginning of next year. But we just wanted to be home a little longer this time. But this is the first time since we've been gone that we've been home for an extended
Both of our moms are in the late 80s.
Mm.
And we wanted to spend some extended time with them this year. So that's why we're not traveling this fall, except in the U.S.
I see. So tell me how this process of downsizing, how does that happen?
Well, the first thing, it's taking a stock of your stuff and then saying, what the heck are we going to do with it all?
I know it's overwhelming at first.
Yes.
And we got started, one closet, one room at a time. And it's that emotional attachment. I mean, I liked my golf shirts. She says I have 50. I think I had 30, but I had at least 50 golf shirts. And now I have 1 golf shirt, and we wear these retirement traveler t-shirts all the time. But it's so nice not having, clothes, stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother us a bit now, and we look at other people that, have said, well, I want to retire, but they have 2 homes and they have boats and they have all these things. And it's like, well, why are you still working? Or we have 2 storage units filled up. We've gone the complete opposite of that.
And we never even thought about it until we got to the point where we did it ourselves.
This lifestyle had never even entered our minds until about COVID, really.
Yeah.
And then the RV trip kind of it flipped a switch for us.
Yeah, it just helped us to see that things weren't important. And we grow up with that idea. Our parents say to us, you shouldn't worry about what somebody thinks of you. But we really kind of fell into that over the years. We lived in the home like everybody else. We had the same things everybody else had. We drove the same cars. We talk about originality in our lives, but really we're not very original, people generally. And so for us, growing up with that mindset of, oh, you don't need to worry about what other people think. But the first thing that we said to each other, and we're really embarrassed to say this, but our very first reaction was, oh, what will our friends think? They'll think we're crazy. And that was our first reaction. And we're embarrassed to think that was our first reaction to going to live a big life. And
now we don't care.
Now we don't care. But aren't you kind of embarrassed over that?
Yeah, we did care what people thought. Like, are we crazy and all that? And this has been a process the last several years. But I think back where we've come in the last 5 years of retirement. We've done more living in the last 5 years than we did our entire lives, I think. And it's not like we led a boring life. But we've been to 104 countries now, started a YouTube channel, a website. We get messages from people all over the world saying, how we have changed their lives, made them think differently, downsize, go travel. live their dreams in retirement. And we love getting messages like that we never dreamed we could influence so many people.
And I know you probably feel the same way. It's the added benefit that you get that you didn't count on.
Yes.
That somebody could be influenced by you. And in retirement, and as the retirement travelers, we thought, oh, we'll just share our journey, inspire people. Maybe we can inspire someone to go somewhere, but we never thought we could inspire someone to live their life differently.
Yeah.
And that's very rewarding. That's the thing that we say to ourselves, that, well, we never thought we would be recognized or anything like that. And we get recognized where
we're walking in Singapore. Singapore was the most interesting other side of the world. And we got recognized 3 times in one day.
No way.
Or people from different countries.
We can recognize
saying, oh, John and Bev, because of the shirts.
They know who we are. But
that is awesome. That is so awesome.
Three different people in 3 different parts. It was the craziest thing to walk around and hear John, Bev, John, Bev, and retirement travelers.
We were in Riga, Latvia, Tallinn, Estonia, walking down the street, and some lady from Colombia who followed our blogs there said they were just in there visiting Estonia and stopped us on the street. So
people there.
Yeah, and then another woman from Tallinn stopped us, and we went into an ice cream shop there, and she dropped her child off with her husband so she could come in and talk to us for a while. So it's just a fun story, and we get to meet people, invite us to stay with them around the country and world. And so we've taken them up on that. We actually stayed with a couple in Sweden last summer for 3 days, and they showed us around their hometown. And
we met someone in Alabama on that trip. People
from Alabama, and now we have a group of us that have kind of met up through social media, other world travelers, and there's 8 of us meeting in Europe next fall. So people often say, do you miss your friends? And yes, I mean, we had lots of friends at work and in our neighborhood in Florida. We have friends, but what they don't realize is we're making even more friends all around the world. So it's opened up a whole new world for us.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, because who thought you guys would have more than 110,000 of followers on YouTube?
Who would have thought?
We never dreamed.
Our kids didn't even think we'd get 1,000 followers. Did
they?
When
we first started, it was like, come on, will you please subscribe so we can get to 100 and then 1,000?
But
isn't that amazing?
So, yeah. It's been an amazing journey, and just the fun. It's just been fun for us.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, during my career, she was my rock, did everything at home, and helped the household, raise kids and all that. And our roles are kind of reversed now. She's the retirement traveler guru. I'm the helper and support person.
He's a good helper.
So the roles have kind of switched. And she gets to use her creativity and art design background, for this.
And I guess just being a stay-at-home mom for 5 kids and, raising kids, I was always doing something, and I was always doing something creative. I was painting or home repair or, refinishing furniture or, landscaping. And I kind of was the handyman. People used to say to me, what's it like to be married to an engineer that can do all of these things and very meticulous? And I'm like,
he's gone all the time.
He's not doing any of the house projects.
No, I was doing house projects. He would come home on the weekends, and I'm like, we're going to insulate the attic, and we're going to add some more insulation here. Can you help feed the bales in so I can blow it in? But yeah, so now when he retired, and I said, if I could do something, I'd like to just blog my way around the world. And he said, okay, well, I'll start a YouTube channel. I mean, how hard can that be? And that was the hardest thing we've done. And it kind of sucked all the energy out trying to create the YouTube. But we get so much joy from it. And now we're back to blogging, and we're trying to do both, which is very difficult.
Trying to do a website and YouTube well and travel the world is we stay busy.
I was going to say that because I know how much work it is to create the videos and write and do all that and still travel.
Yeah, it's part of it now is that we've kind of learned how to balance our time. And before, we just went full steam ahead on every project. And now we kind of are figuring out how to do it well and how to balance our time. When we go out again, next spring, we're heading to China, Japan, and South Korea. And when we go there, our plan is to not video well, we're going to film, and we'll be taking photographs for the blog and for the vlog, but we are not going to create the videos while we're there. We're going to give ourselves time to come home and put the stuff together, because it's just too hard. It's too hard to do it all at once.
And usually we have found bad internet all around the world. It's very hard to do videos with bad internet.
Yeah.
And we've been in Africa and India and Sri Lanka, and these places don't always have very good internet.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you cannot enjoy it so much when you are worried about videotaping everything and just edit everything, because it's cumbersome. I know how hard it is.
We don't mind the filming. The editing can take a long time, and to do it well, and we don't want to just put out anything. We want to do it well. So
gets back to that balance part, and it's taken us a few years to figure out, because we didn't know what we were getting into, and it's taken a few years to kind of find that balance, and I think we're getting close to finding it now.
Yes, we both have roles. I edit the videos. John does a lot of the behind the scenes. He gets all the video, the descriptions. He does the SEO. He does a lot of the SEO on the blog. He's the person, if you write to our channel, he'll answer you with his charm, and sometimes he'll say, hey, you need to answer this comment. But we like communicating with people, and they ask us questions, and we like answering that. Well, John does it, but we like that interaction.
I like the balance. We balance. She does 80% of the work, and I do 20, and it works out a really good balance.
That's a good balance.
No, I just have all these ideas, and he's like, okay, let's reel this in.
She's the creative one. I mean, she can look at a picture, and she just got better skills than I have from a creativity and
I went
video.
to art school, so I studied color and composition. So having an art background, it's really good for this. And then to have someone like John who's so willing to work hard and not, you were always the worker.
Well, and the other thing, we get a lot of messages, it's interesting, from women who say, I want to go travel, but my husband won't retire or won't leave the house or doesn't like to travel. And it really got us thinking, and we've done some videos on this, is alignment with your spouse or partner in retirement is so important. It's hard to go to where you want to go if we weren't aligned. And fortunately for us, we both love to travel, and we love this lifestyle. So, we're full speed ahead, but it's fortunate that we're aligned in this. And it's kind of sad that so many people are not.
Yeah, I do have some friends that are retired. They moved to Tennessee to retire, but then their husbands are not in good health.
Oh,
yeah.
So that is another factor, right? You gotta both be in good health.
Right.
And that's why you want to take care of yourself and, live life while you can. We, too many good friends die early, and that's
and another thing that we know, and this has become very apparent to us, is we think about, what we want to do with our channel and where we want to go and what we want to go see, is that we have a set number of, we don't know what that number is, but there's a number of years that we're in our go-go years. So retirement is divided between your go-go years, your slow-go years, and then your no-go years. And people who retire very late, like, 70 years old, they might have 5 or 10 years of go-go, but most of that time is probably going to be slow-go. And people don't take that into effect. And we see this also with downsizing. And we've done several videos on it's called Swedish death cleaning. That's one of the methods. And that's kind of what we did, is where we went through all of our things. But, going through your things and minimizing your stuff, it needs to be done early in retirement, not later in retirement. And oftentimes by the time you get to be 85 or later, you're oftentimes not able to handle the boxes because it's very cumbersome and heavy moving and lots of stuff to go through that. So doing things like travel, downsizing your stuff, those things should be done early in retirement, not later in retirement.
We were still in our 50s, gotten rid of all of our stuff. We had got all of our estate planning done. Everything was digitized. Our family pictures were distributed to our kids. I mean, if we died tomorrow, all of our financial documents are in a secure vault. We really have no loose ends as far as, stuff to deal with. We've tried to simplify everything. With your ABS background, you kind of, understand simplification, and we've tried to do that in everything we do. And it's so liberating.
Yeah, I bet
when
it
we
is.
First started out, we thought, well, let's go travel for 10 years. And then when we got out on the road, we realized we love this. And even being back here for the last month or so, we've been feeling like, I'm kind of ready to get back out there. We're happy that we're home for a while. We needed a break, but it's not made us say, oh gosh, I miss going to Walmart and I miss the grocery store. I don't
we like going to grocery stores all around the world and seeing the differences, and it's great.
That was my next question, because when you guys are traveling, are you able to cook? Do you book like an Airbnb with a kitchen so you can cook?
Well, when we started, we did all Airbnb for a year, and then we just had so many bad experiences, and we decided, let's switch to a hotel. And our style of travel, where we're traveling somewhere different every week, it's just better for us to be in a hotel. And so our first year, we did cook. We did cook a lot. Now we've kind of said, you know what, let's try to eat well and try to eat out. I don't mind not cooking anymore, but occasionally we will have a place.
Well, it works pretty well. What we typically do, we only eat 2 meals a day, and we get a hotel that has a free breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So we eat a good, healthy breakfast, go do our thing during the day, and then we find a great restaurant, at night.
We try to eat around 5 o'clock.
We eat pretty early. And the other thing what we found is, if we don't feel like eating out, is there's grocery stores that have great, chef salads and stuff, rotisserie chicken, those kind of things.
Sometimes
you don't even have to go to a restaurant.
Yeah,
so,
sometimes we get a salad and
it has worked out. Actually, it's not all it's cracked up to be. If you're going to stay a month somewhere, you want to have a kitchen. But for 1 week while you're actively doing stuff, the time you go to the store and get all the stuff, we've just found it easier to not do that. And we actually, we had some bad experiences with Airbnb, and that was our biggest video ever. It's almost 700,000 views. Why we quit Airbnb. And it's amazing the stories of people that have had bad experiences with Airbnb.
Yeah. But eating out is hard. I mean,
it's part of the eating healthy part. I think the healthiest we ate was on a cruise. Okay. We came back last year, and we decided we were on a 33-day repositioning cruise from Europe back to the United States.
Well, we made it 30.
We made it. It was
in Israel.
Yeah, we couldn't go to Israel, so we had to change plans. And so we did 33 days on a cruise, and we decided no alcohol, no sweets, no pasta, and
no bread.
No bread. And we ended up losing 17 pounds total.
7, he lost 10.
I lost 10.
And we just clear out the gym. Every time we stopped, we went for a hike. We did Gibraltar, we did Santorini, we walked, and we
carry our backpacks, we take stairs instead of elevators. I mean, every chance we have to exercise and help us stay healthy, we do. So,
and of course, you guys are walking all the time on those
all the time. So
it's a rarity that we don't get 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah,
at least, and sometimes close to 20. So we're walking a lot.
Oh yeah, no question about this. So tell me,
pairs of shoes. So this is how we can tell. We go through usually 2 or sometimes 3 pairs of shoes. We wear Hoka shoes. John loves to run in those. So
Only
we just
Hoka.
wear those.
okay.
And we just wear those, and we go through about 3 pairs a year.
If you've never tried them, you need to try them. Hoka.
I have seen those around. Yeah. Are they good?
Really very, very comfortable.
Okay. So you have 1 pair at a time, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we only take 2 pairs of shoes with us as we travel. I have a pair of slip-on shoes that I wear to the beach and also out to dinner. And then John has a pair. He does the same.
Aubrey, they're my dress shoes, slip-ons that if I, like on the cruise, occasionally I have to wear my one golf shirt with a collared shirt, and I have 1 pair of pants and 1 pair of shoes. So that's my outfit. So a big change from our work days in a golf community in Florida.
I bet. So let me ask you this. When you guys decided, so you have 5 kids,
Mhm.
how did they get the message?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, we called them all and we said, hey, we have some news for you. And, our oldest daughter, her first reaction was, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard of in my life. And I'm so jealous. And she was so happy for us. And so just talk about her first. So throughout this whole time, she's an attorney near Baltimore. And she has been like, Mom, Dad, go do this. You can do it. You can do this. This is a great idea. She loves the social media. She's the one that has inspired us to keep wearing our shirts. When we got our shirts, John used to jokingly call them our uniform. And he's like, are you wearing your uniform today? And we've eventually gotten to where we wear these shirts every day. And we've gotten comments from people who say, stop wearing
them. That's
them.
stupid, but we love it.
We love it because we meet so many people. People talk to us in these shirts. They don't talk to us if we're anonymous and we have nothing on our shirt, but they talk to us. But she sent us a message or an article about Sarah Blakely, who's the founder of Spanx. And this article is about how when she was trying to get her company going, all she wore was a t-shirt that said Spanx. In every meeting she went to, everywhere. And she goes, see, Mom, keep doing it. So
she's got $1 billion business now. So
yeah, we'll never get there. But our oldest daughter was very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And she has been a big supporter. She encourages us when we need the support. Then we have a son. The next son down was like, what are you doing?
Why are you wasting all your money?
Why are you wasting your money? This is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And his first reaction was that. And he has since come around and he's like, this is great. You guys are doing great. I'm proud of you. He doesn't have any problem at all with it. And then we have another son who's probably a little surprised because he's in the tech world. Yeah. And
he's worked for Google and Apple.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's been the one that we try not to bother him with our technical questions because we know he's a busy guy, but he's probably the one that's been surprised at our success.
Yeah.
Of being able to actually get it done. But he's encouraging too, but he always can answer Dad's questions whenever he has a question. And then we have twins, and the twins are the girls, and they're both nurses, and
they're supportive of everything.
They're everything, and they've always been that way. They're happy with anything.
We're at one of their houses right now, so
okay.
And
he's been happy.
Yeah, it's but none of them, including us, thought that the whole YouTube thing would be anything more than maybe someday get to 1,000 subscribers. They had no idea.
They always tell us you're just cute old people.
We're cute. One of our
cute old people.
One of our things on our videos, we say subscribe because our kids think we're cute old people.
They really think we're cute old people.
Awesome.
Like, cute old people.
But I think when we do something that brings us joy, fulfillment, it aligns with whatever values we have.
Right.
Yeah.
We have fun with that, and we don't think about the outcome. We just do it because it brings us joy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the magic for
It
success.
is.
Probably how you got started with this.
Yes, exactly. And that's how I'm doing it. I have no attachment to the outcome whatsoever. I'm just having fun talking to people I love, people that has interesting things going on, you know, big life changes and big aha moments. And that is what brings me joy. I don't care
Great.
about the outcome. I just keep
I know,
going.
but isn't it crazy that, I mean, if you're like us, you know, we didn't plan on that. We didn't look for, oh, I mean, we knew what we wanted to do and we knew it would bring us joy, but we didn't know that helping other people or that how fulfilling that was.
Yeah.
I mean, we just didn't know it in our retirement that our lives could be so different like this, you know, that we could have an impact, that we could do something positive, contribute to society. You know, you think when you retire that you're done.
Yeah, I think that's the message for people is you never know how you can impact other people. When I worked, I was barely on LinkedIn. I never did any social media at all. And now our whole lives are around social media and such a different. And obviously I don't agree with everything on social media, but it is a mechanism to reach people.
Yeah.
And you know that we would not have otherwise.
Yeah.
And help change people's lives. So you know, if you're gonna have a tool like social media, do something good with it and be positive in the world. And that's what we're trying to do. We try to inspire and encourage, and you know, when people write to us, we write back, we try to answer, we try to be helpful. And you know, we've built some good friendships because of this.
Yeah, it is amazing how much we learned, especially during the pandemic, how much in being connected through social media is important. I'm having this experience myself. We don't know how many people we are actually impacting, because you have a field that you've met during your trips and a field that recognize you guys.
Right.
But it's a universe of people that have access.
Yeah.
So it is really important to give this positive message and just be the best you can be, and much more than we think is the impact that we are making. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Right.
And especially you guys.
Well, your comment reminds me of something. When early on, when we started traveling, one of the first countries we went to was Guatemala. And the people there were so happy that we were there. And then we started getting all these messages after we did some videos from there, and people would write us and they would say, so thank you so much for coming to our country and seeing the good here and enjoying it and seeing the beauty of it. And then we would go to another country, to Romania, and then we would get comments, thank you for coming to our country and seeing the good of us, seeing the good. You know, we would be in Serbia and they would say, thank you for coming here and finding the good, and, you know, showing people that, you know, we're not necessarily what you're hearing in the media. You know, it just reminded us that people love where they come from. They love their families. People have love everywhere we go. And 1%, not even 1% of the world is bad. And that's,
I think the meanest people we've met are on YouTube comments and social media. When we actually go to the places, people have been so, you know, we were told, oh, don't go to India. They're going to be
in your face,
and not true. They would get up off the metro and make sure Bev had a seat in Delhi, you know, as an example, and
sit down. And then so I would sit down, and then they would say, John, you know, they motioned to him to sit down, and he's like, no, I'll just stand. And then finally I said, you might as well sit. They're not going to stop until you sit. And it's like that.
And even in Guatemala, and if people would listen, we would never go anywhere. Like, we were told by many people, don't go to Guatemala, you're going to get killed or kidnapped or whatever. People or Colombia, people have been nothing but super nice to us.
Because you know you guys are a cute couple.
Yeah, Colombia, Guatemala. So actually, we don't have. I mean, we're not going to go to Somalia, but we feel comfortable going to places all around the world, and you know, we're going back to China. We're going to explore the world, and yes, there's a handful of countries and places that obviously aren't safe. We're not going to, but we want to see the rest of the world. And so whether that's 130 or 140 countries, we're going to go everywhere we can over the next decade. And we just want to experience the world, try new foods, meet different people, and like you said, see the joy and have fun
That's it.
without stuff.
What's better? Oh my gosh, if we can influence people to downsize
Yeah.
as much as they can.
That's probably the biggest thing that we've done in our retirement is getting rid of our stuff and just not having, we don't have to think about mowing the yard, or we don't have to think about, we don't have insurance on a house, or there's so many things that your mind goes to on a daily basis that you just don't have to worry about.
And that we can use that money for more joy of travel and kids and other things that we're not paying, for homeowners insurance and all that stuff. So our new thing is we just put a room in here is granny pods. When we're back in the States, we're actually have a room at 3 different kids' houses that we can stay at. So, why invest in a new home here when we can help our children? And, our assets are eventually going to go to our children someday anyway. Why not help them now? And help us have a place to stay and get to see the grandkids. And so it's working out for everyone. So, our mindset has changed on everything. And
when we proposed this to our kids, we were like, we were kind of thinking, how would you feel about us creating a granny pod? And with our daughter here at this home, and we're in Indiana today, she's like, oh, I've got room in my basement. Let's build out a room for you. And our daughter in Baltimore, she already has a room in her basement that is great for us. And then our son in Ohio, we're actually going to build a little guest house at his house, and a kind of a granny pod, as they call them,
tiny home.
And we were a little hesitant about how they would all feel, because our son and daughter-in-laws are a little different. You don't want to impose. And she's like, oh, this is going to be great. I can help take care of you when you get old, and you won't have to go to a nursing home. And I thought, wow, I never even thought everybody would react the way they have, but everybody's happy to have us come into their home. And so we kind of look at it as we're roving grandparents. We come in, we've been coming home about twice a year, and now we're going to be coming home about 3 times a year, and, roving through everybody's homes. And so
it's really been so great for them and for the grandkids to have you guys really around the whole time and living with them.
And the other big piece of our legacy is we want to show the world to our grandchildren. And so they're a little young right now, but one of our granddaughters just came with our daughter to Spain earlier. And
she met us in Arkansas. She's 6 years old, and she flew across the country
by herself
to come with us for a week.
So
our daughter is like, well, we're training her to be world travelers, but we want to show them the world. And I told John, I said, if our children one day are sitting in a job interview, or they're sitting in a college interview, and they say, what's your life like? And they can say, my grandparents took me around the world. I've seen so much. We don't know how our grandkids will be, how it can impact them. They could be writers, they could be missionaries, they could be business leaders, they could be doctors, or whatever. It doesn't matter what they are, but if they have an appreciation for other people and their place in humanity, that's what we really want them to see. We see a lot of poverty in the world as we travel, and we want our kids to see that there's more to life than just stuff. And
one of the things that impacted us, we took a 2-day longboat river cruise down the Mekong River between Laos and Thailand. And we stopped at a little village school, and there's no running water, no electricity, very, very primitive conditions. And we dropped off coloring books and toothbrushes and stuff. But every single child had a smile from ear to ear, so happy to see us, so sweet.
And not just that, they thanked us. They thanked you before they put their hands on me. Before they took their toothbrush, they thanked you for it. And gosh,
Yes, it may. Yeah. So it's not about how much stuff you have. It just, it's valuable lessons from little kids in Laos and Africa and other places that we've seen.
Yeah. And, I'm listening to you say that, and I'm thinking you have already a legacy for your grandkids in all the videos you have made this whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though they cannot go with you, the legacy is there, right?
Yeah, it is.
That is awesome. Awesome.
One of our kids had sent us a picture of one of our grandkids sitting in front of their TV watching Grammy and Papa on YouTube. It was a great picture.
Because we have a 9-year-old grandson. He's our oldest, and he was so excited to see our YouTube plaque.
We got 100,000 plaque.
Yeah.
And
YouTube is the one that's saying.
Yes. We should have brought it here.
Yeah.
It's they give it to you when you reach 100,000, and then they give you a gold one when you reach 1 million.
So we may never get there, but it was fun getting to the 100,000.
But we told our grandson, you can hang it in your bedroom, and when we get to your house, and he's like, okay, he's so excited about it.
I bet they talk with their little friends and
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh my goodness.
I'm sure his friends say, your grandparents aren't YouTubers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of young kids are doing it.
People look at us in disbelief, like, we've met some young people around the world. It's like, we have a YouTube channel too. And, we're not real big. They'll say, we have 2,000. And they say, well, how big are you? And we said, well, we have 100,000. It's like, what? We're always shy.
Our grandson was with us on a cruise last Christmas, and we were walking along, he and I, and these kids came up and they said, we would like a picture of you. Can we get a picture? And so they took a picture with us. And when we walked off, and I said to Judson, I said, your Grammy and Pop are a little bit famous. It was just a joke, of course. And he looked at me and he said, I know. So if nothing else, Judson thinks we're famous, and that's what we love.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's awesome. I am so glad that you guys did this. Oh my gosh. It's such a big inspiration for everybody.
I'm sure it's kind of funny to see John, who you worked with and you knew from the work years to then.
You probably never thought you'd see me doing YouTube.
No. Who in the world? Right? Who in the world? But I think the message is so important because some people are just in this hamster wheel of working to pay all the stuff. So even though you have a boat, a house in a golf course or a condo in Florida, you are working so much to pay all your bills that you don't have time to enjoy it.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
that is the message we have to get out there, because
we
don't need none of that.
Oh, the other message is so this is, now we're coming up on 5 years of travel and 3 years abroad, 2 years in the US. And we look back on our stuff, and you know what? It's a thing. We walk into not necessarily a grocery store, but we walk into Hobby Lobby, or we walk into some store and we look around and we go, looks like garage sale stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, it's a thing. It's, yes, we had a pretty home, and yes, we loved our home and we loved our neighborhood, but it was still a thing. And I don't know.
That was probably the world travel has been impactful, but the minimalization and the downsizing has probably been just as much or even more impactful on the way we see the world and live our life now.
Yeah.
Never saw it coming, actually.
Yeah.
You get, as you said, the hamster, where you get caught up into this world of materialism and don't even think about how it's not only robbing your financial assets, but your mental. We're going around the first year, and the hurricane was coming to Florida, and we were worried about our boat and who's going to, tie it down and take care of it. And finally I told Bev, I said, I wish the hurricane would just sink it to the bottom so we can be done with it. And then when we finally sold our boat, it's like, yes, never again.
Although I have been trying to talk him into sailing around the world, but that'll never happen. It's just a pipe dream. I see these YouTubers doing it, and I think, oh, that sounds.
That's not gonna happen. We're not that crazy.
No.
Yeah, but the other day I was listening to an interview of the guy that wrote a book named Travel Light. His name is Light Watkins, and it's Travel Light, Spiritual Minimalism. That is the subtitle of the book. And he talks about exactly that. So he now lives like you guys with a backpack and nothing else. And he got rid of everything that he had. And he's a psychologist. And then he just writes about this, how much more fulfilling the life is when everything you have is just inside you.
Yes,
it is.
That's right. We were inspired by two books when we started out. The quote we love is the
C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, the C.S. Lewis quote, "You're never too old to set a new goal or dream a new dream." And the book that we loved was Vagabonding. And it's a book about just being free to go travel and just traveling and going wherever the wind leads you. And it's a famous book. But the other book that we loved was, and when we were in the US, we listened to books on audio as we drove around, and we listened to Elizabeth Gilbert's book called Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. And she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, the book that, inspired a lot of world travel. And, but she wrote this book about becoming a maker of something and making something. And, our parents or our great-grandparents, our great-great-great-great-parents, they all had to make something. They had to, they were makers of things. And, that inspiration of how to write or how to paint or how to do whatever you're doing in life and making something, and the idea of being a maker of something. And so those two books kind of combined to create our dream of creating something with our blog and creating something with our videos and traveling and combining all of that together.
Yep.
But it's the living light has changed everything.
We're so flexible now. Yeah, travel, minimalism, and having a purpose in retirement is really important. This retirement travelers business is time consuming, but we love it. And we're always like, well, what's the next video going to be? And where are we going to go? And what's a more efficient way to do that? And, there's always something that we're learning. Hey, let's watch this other YouTube video. We might learn something. And, just has changed our life. The things that we've given up, I don't get to go run 5Ks every weekend, and she doesn't get to play as much golf, and we have made sacrifices there, but we've loved doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And somebody said to me once, Bev, I think the corporate world missed out on you because, we were doing something where we were trying to come up with some ideas on something. And I said, I had contributed an idea, and she said, I think the corporate world missed out on you. And as being a stay-at-home mom all of those years, I always felt like I had something in me that was creative and I just didn't have an outlet for it. Other than my children and John, and he would come home from work and tell me about something having to work. And I'm like, and I got so excited just hearing things that were happening, and he would problem solve a problem at work. And I just, I didn't have that being a stay-at-home mom. So this has been a good outlet for me to have something different.
Yeah. And it's never too late, as you said.
Never too late.
Never too late to start.
Yeah.
That joy will pay off anytime. Yeah. Yeah, that is so wonderful. So I know you guys have so many subscribers already, but if somebody else is listening to us that are not following you yet, how do they find you?
Well, we're pretty much retirement travelers everywhere. retirementtravelers.com. We're Retirement Travelers on Instagram and Facebook.
YouTube.
We have a Facebook group. Yeah. We have a newsletter that you can subscribe to. And we've sometimes done it every week, but we're going to be doing it every month instead of weekly. just, we're everywhere.
If
We're
you
on
Google
LinkedIn.
retirement travelers,
You'll
we'll
find
come
us.
up in some form. So
Yeah.
subscribe and follow along.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for
Thanks
accepting
for
the
having us.
invitation. It was a joy. I
Thank you.
loved this conversation, and keep inspiring people. I love
Okay.
to see you
You
guys
too.
out there.
You too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Say hi to Leo for us.
Okay, I will.
Thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot to me that you chose to be here. To help Mama Terra's mission of making the world a disease-free place for generations to come, you can follow the show, write a review, or talk to your friends about it. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. Every week, I craft good health and wellness tips, recipes, and book recommendations with love and care, just for you. My intention is to give you information and resources to help you make good choices and feel well. Find the link to subscribe in the show notes. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again for being here. We have lots of new episodes coming up, so stay tuned. And remember, good is what makes you feel well.
Transcende levita, toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala a montanha.